Hi, this is Karen from the Mindful Earth Keeper. This is going to be our last video for a while talking about the Song of Life because we're going to be moving into a session and a season about practical ways of living restoratively. But this week I wanted to focus a little bit more on rhythm and specifically pacing our lifestyle. And so I created a blog post that you can read online on the Mindful Earth Keeper site, which talks about 6 of the main things that we need to do to really pace ourselves in our lives. From everything from setting realistic goals and boundaries and practicing mindfulness to staying connected with other people and staying active. So those are the kinds of things that we all kind of know that we need to do. But I also wanted to talk in this video about something that relates to pacing that we often don't do, which is putting enough rest and recovery after big events in our life. And so I just wanted to share a little story that happened to me in the last week. Right after the spring equinox retreat, I realized that I had really overscheduled the week after. And normally when I have a retreat, I put a lot of time into it the week before, and the day of the retreat is really energy depleting because you're trying to hold a space for other people and really focus on other people's needs. And so by the end of the retreat, you're really excited that you've had a good retreat, but you also know that you need rest and recovery. Well, I didn't put any of that into my schedule. And so the next week was actually crowded with more activities than usual. And what I had to do was to look at those kinds of things that are in the blog today and say to myself, well, how in a schedule that doesn't allow for any rest and recovery, do I actually find a way to stay connected to myself, stay connected to other people? And one of the things I want to say is if you're someone whose whole life is overscheduled right now, I would really double up on mindfulness. I know I was raised Lutheran, so I would hear Martin Luther quotes. And one of the quotes that I remember being told was that he had said once that on a normal day he would pray 30 minutes in the morning, but if it was a really, really busy day, he would double the prayer to 60 minutes. And that's kind of what I remembered and did this time with both mindfulness and prayer. I added a little prayer that my week would go well, and then focused on mindfulness even to a greater degree than I normally do. The other thing is that I made sure that I did exercise. And then when I was really connecting with people that I cared about, that I didn't look at those connections as just something to do on a to-do list. I really allowed myself to stay engaged and stay mindful with that activity. Because I think sometimes we can move through our lives so busy that we're not mindful of all the connections that really matter and what truly matters in our life we allow to just sort of fleet by without really relishing and wondering how lucky we are to have people in our lives who care about us and seeing the beauty and awe of life around us. We just pass it by because we're stuck in trying to be a robot or caring about other people's ideas. So anyway, hope that you can find some ideas that are useful to you. There's going to be a little carousel on Instagram if you want to see some of those ideas. You can also go to the Mindful Earth Keeper blog site and you can see some of these ideas written out. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.